three specific ways to file. Number one, that's going to be a supplemental filing, okay? That's going to be on the form, VA form 21 TAC 0995, okay? That form there, that is specifically to be able to provide something called new and relevant evidence, okay? New and relevant evidence. And one big thing that's going on right now is what is relevant? What constitutes relevant evidence? Well, we want to first be able to really understand what the new part is first, because we want to be able to really put something to that. So new, that's no information that was previously reviewed prior in regards to the prior decision, which is new evidence. Relevant, well, we want it relevant to the issue at hand. And the issue at hand would be any diagnosis or any claim condition that we're going after. Okay? So that's really what the supplemental claim is for, is to be able to overturn the issue that was previously denied and satisfy two distinct definitions, new and relevant information, okay? And new and relevant information, we really could peel back the official definition with regards to that, but what I want to tell you, veterans, is I don't want to get into the weeds. I'm just going to let you know if it is a complaint of that issue, it can constitute as relevant, okay? It can constitute as relevant. It does not always need to satisfy why it was previously denied in regards to medical evidence or opinion. We just want it to be, again, relevant, and this is something that has been chronic and continuously affecting you.
Absolutely. No, so great on that one. So now when we're talking about the supplemental claim, do they have a certain timeline to actually file a supplemental claim?
Well, great. Yeah, great question. So you have a year's time frame to be able to file a supplemental claim from your decision letter date. From your decision letter date. So in the top left-hand corner of your actual date of decision on your notification letter, there's going to be a specific date. That date, you have a year's time frame to be able to submit a supplemental claim if you were denied the original or new or increased claim, to appeal that decision.
No, absolutely. And I always get nervous when I see those letters, right? Because as veterans who have received those letters may realize is that you'll have that letter on that page one, top left, as you described it. But also when you go down and you scroll down and you start looking at like the review of decisions, you may have a date that is something different. It may be 1, 2, or 3 days prior. So if you could explain the differences between those two dates, because when I look at it, it's like, hey, let me just put this claim in by that earlier date, because I'm not even going to play with that date at the top of the page.
Yeah, so there's multiple dates that can be considered, right? We can have a rating decision date. We can have the effective date of the condition. We can have the date that you are actually going to be, the dates that are actually that are broken out in the ledger system in regards to what date or what you're getting paid and how you're getting paid. Okay, and that's typically, again, your pay dates. All right, and also you have the date of notification letter, right? The date of notification letter may not always match the date of rating decision. Those could be two different dates. All right. So that's why it is based upon the notification letter date, because we want to make sure, the VA wants to make sure that the veteran has been notified. So that's a date. Typically it takes about a few weeks before your notification letter gets to you, or you can actually check it on va.gov as well now, right?
Okay, so that's why I'm seeing it where it's a couple of days apart, or maybe 1 or 2 days, because essentially they may have made the decision on September 13th, and then it was populated a day or two after to be in the portal, and that's what's on the actual letter.
Yeah, so it has to get authorized. So it can be also, that the decision was made, but now it needs to be authorized. Now, again, typical authorization could take a few days or such, or it could take one day, or it could be the same day. We don't necessarily know. Once it's authorized at that point, it's moving on. But it depends on if it needs to be authorized or not, because again, like I said, I don't want to get in the weeds of that, but it could be done on a Friday evening, right? Notification letter doesn't go out until Monday.
And then Monday could have been a holiday and it doesn't go out to Tuesday.
Yeah, so there could be many reasons on why the date differs. But one date that we don't want to differ too much is the effective date, right? Because that's your compensation, that's your benefits. That's what you want to be always either the same or staged in a benefit way that's going to benefit you, okay? So, but again, that we can definitely uncover that in one of our previous videos that we have talked about effective dates, but also some of our future videos as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so that is a common way to appeal. So now diving a little bit into a couple more questions about the supplemental claim process. I want to know, okay, so a claim was denied, you filed a supplemental claim. Now, if it remains denied, can you submit for a supplemental claim again?
So yes, you can. If we have satisfied the definition of the new evidence to be new and relevant. So at that point, it can and will be readjudicated by the VA.
Okay, so as long as you file a supplemental claim with new and relevant evidence, you can continuously do that as many times as you need to.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And now, so with that filing of the supplemental claim, what is going to, again, I know we don't want to get into it too much, but constitute that new and relevant evidence?
New and relevant evidence. It is, I think this is a very hot take and controversial. Anything can affect, I can send a, hey, my ankle's still hurting, and I put some medical records in. That's new, and it's not redundant because it's still chronic and continuous. You have to look, that's the portion when we talk about judges making decisions. That's the gray area portion that raters aren't doing, and that they don't have a GS7 rater ain't gonna do that. That's not how it works, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, it's so like crazy. All this stuff is crazy. And does not affect the outcome. How are you gonna tell me a new diagnosis is not gonna affect the outcome? Because now that diagnosis could have changed from my previous diagnosis, or I could have a different type of pain that's affecting the issue. And now we understand it's diagnosed, but who to say that me climbing the ladder well isn't going to, me climbing the ladder well over the years, that one medical opinion has referenced that, but now I have new pain. So could you figure out what is actually the cause of the new pain? Is it the issue of the climbing the ladder well? We don't know unless you get a exam. But I'm not going to order you an exam because I don't feel as though you met the definition of quality. You don't fit the definition. So now look how many people are getting denied just in that.
Because of somebody's subjective view of what that is, other than looking at what the definition and what the law constitutes.
But you got to get trained to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like when I think about this program now, I'm like, damn, this program is perfect. It was perfect for me in a sense. Like, that's what to do. But yeah, that's interesting. So when we talk about the new evidence, when we talk about the official definition lies to be, and this is in regards to the Code of Federal Regulations and when we're supposed to be able to really go off of and also go off the Warren's Manual. So merging the two definitions, it means, again, evidence that has not been previously part of an actual record, okay, before agency adjudicators have been able to review. So it is not previous evidence that was previously reviewed, okay? And that's kind of a very distinct definition within the CFR. And then we have the distinct definition when we're talking about the Warrants Manual. It's information that the VA did not previously consider in connection with the claim prior. Okay, so this has to be new evidence, and it could be from a physician, it could be buddy letters, it can be pretty much anything that's going to be related to that diagnosis. Okay, that is going to be constituted as new. Constitute as relevant. Well, what is relevant evidence for a supplemental claim? Well, relevant evidence reads as is information that by itself or when considered with other evidence of record relates to the unestablished fact necessary to substantiate the claim. What does that even mean? Right? So let's really kind of unpack that. So it is going to be officially evidence that is not cumulative, that is not redundant, or that does not affect the outcome of the decision is not considered new or relevant. So if it does not affect the outcome of the decision, it will not be considered new and relevant. And that was a big change because this was a big change that happened around May, okay, of 2025. So that actually could possibly increase a lot of denials. So this is why it goes back to be so important in regards to moving your case forward. Appealing could really matter because historical changes in regulation and policy, you guys, it changes so very often, but it could be beneficial to you or it can negatively impact you. But if you do not continuously file your appeals, you're never even in the game. So that's why it's very important that you continuously file as an appeal, whether if it's a supplemental and you have new and relevant evidence, new evidence that's evidence that has not ever been considered before, and relevant evidence, evidence that could potentially disprove the outcome of the previous claim. So that's why it's very important to make sure that we continuously appeal your case file.
Absolutely. So now great with explaining the supplemental claim. So now when we talk about that new and relevant, right? So I always want to give our veterans here an example of how that would apply in the real world. So what about a situation where the evidence is new because I did not submit that evidence previously? So let's say, hey, I submitted my claim. I'm doing a claim for a back condition. And I submitted all my VA medical records because I've been receiving care through the VA. But I also was doing physical therapy with a private that wasn't covered through community care, so that wouldn't have been in my blue button report. And I'm like, hey, I didn't submit that last time. Maybe that's why I got denied. And now I want to submit that. So now would that constitute new and relevant because it was not previously considered?
So let's break that down a little bit, okay? So veterans, now we have veteran X who is submitting their claim and they have resubmitted their service medical records, correct?
Yeah. Service medical records or even just their medical summaries.
Okay, so those are two that let's be very, very
right. Yeah.
distinct.
So I was referring to the medical summary. So basically, they have their treatment records and things through their VA medical, and the VA had all that stuff, but they never submitted anything from the private medical of them going to physical therapy and seeking treatment outside of their VA care.
So with that being said, so we have the VA has reviewed your service medical records. They denied it based upon, what was the denial based upon? Because this is important. It's important information that we have because I want to make sure that the viewers understand that there's different nuances and strategies.
Okay. Yeah, so they denied it just based on saying something along the lines of there was there was no incident or anything connecting what I'm dealing with to anything in service, but there was no, I guess, current diagnosis. They said that as well.
Excellent. So we have a claim that has no current diagnosis and also no issue that transpired within service medical records. Okay? let's say you're an 11 Bravo, right? We're infantry. So now, with that being said, so no entries in service medical records and no diagnosis. So with that being said, 9 times out of 10, what has probably transpired, which is a very common scenario, is that you know this has happened while in service, okay? But you probably wasn't seen by medical, right? 1987, right? Around that time frame.
Exactly.
I don't want to tell your age too much.
Definitely not me.
But obviously around that time frame, there's this kind of frowned upon to going to medical. So there was no entry in service, but also no current diagnosis. So now we have no entry in service, no current diagnosis. That seems like it's probably going to roll over into a negative opinion because they have no information of this being of an issue, let alone to be a chronic issue. So with that, and you actually submitted new evidence for your supplemental claim.
Right.
Because it was denied based upon no entry in service and also no current diagnosis.
Right, yeah, because they're not seeing anything currently in my VA medical history about it. But it's like, hey, I've been going, I used medical through my employer, I just never submitted it.
So now we have new evidence, right? So we satisfy the verbiage of new. This is evidence that has not been previously reviewed by an adjudicator prior. And now we also have the relevance of evidence. Why is it relevant? Well, because prior you said that I didn't have a current diagnosis. Well, without a current diagnosis, you probably don't get an exam. But there can be some leniency to that, but it's going to be based upon obviously your adjudicator. But now, taking consideration of that, now you have a new diagnosis they need to review. So in taking consideration, now you need to take in consideration your full military experience. So with that said, now with that happening, at that point, it satisfies new and relevant because it could possibly prove or disprove the issue of your claim.
Thanks a lot, Kenneth. Community, prepare to compete. We out. Peace.